All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Tuesday learning session. As we all know, we are talking this month about our DNA, and today we'll be talking about design, one of the three parts of our DNA. And our anchor for today will be no other than Tominsi or Labode. Tominsi, please take it away.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm sure we're having a great day. Um, Sorry, I don't know why my name is showing as Olarewaju. I guess it's login I'm using for the laptop. Okay. I can see we have a full house here today. How's everyone doing? Let me quickly share my screen so we can get into uh session for the day. 1 minute, please. Please let me know when you can't see my screen. Can I use my screen now?
Not yet.
Oh, Larry, your laptop is not allowing me to share screen now. What's going on? Is it because it's Zoom? Uh, it's requesting security preference. Hi, Franklin. I don't know if you could help me share from your side. Sorry, guys. So this morning we'll be talking about this morning we'll be talking about our brand DNA while we're waiting for Franklin to help us with screen presentation. Let me just go around the room. How many of us actually took our time to watch the video, the recorded session? Let me start with that. You can just use the raise hand feature. Okay. Awesome. Don't worry. The ones that even watch, we'll call you out today. um, any luck, Franklin?
You're not sharing.
Uh, okay, just did. Take a mail. Okay, so have you seen it now? So while we're waiting for the screen to come up, for those of us that actually watched the video and probably went through the slides, I wanted to find out from us if we understood, oh, great. Thank you so much, Franklin. Some of the videos that were highlighted, in the recorded session by Tosin, talking about design, right, as a brand DNA. So let me just go around, right? What do we understand by design when it comes to marketing, when it comes to communication? Let me ask maybe one or two people. So I'll just run around the room. Hi, Justin. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hi, Thompson.
Yeah, good morning. How's it going? Yeah, so I don't know if you watched the video, but then this is just a general question. What do you understand by design within our space? What do you
So you
think?
mean our space NKIT, right?
Yes. Image and time.
Um, Generally speaking, it's basically us turning our imaginative ability into something physical and to be able to I don't know, think of a strategy, put it into works, and put it into something you can actually see, create a campaign. I think that's basically how it works for us at NKIT.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Okay, let me ask one more person before I move ahead. Um, Let me see. Hi, Dere. Good morning. What do you think about design within our space? What's your thoughts on design?
Hi, Jonathan. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So when I think design within our space is regarding the expression of ideas in terms of expression of ideas leading from directions to how our audience can be able to understand it in a very simplified and engaging way. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dere. Uh, yeah, so there are different ways to answer that. I mean, it's more about the experience of providing solution, right, in a very simplified manner, and also trying to help the consumer or the end user feel a part of, the brand, right? So let's move on to the next slide. So is design in this aspect that we are talking about is basically built around innovation, right? And there were lots of conversations around design innovation and how brands have successfully implemented this into their DNA, into their brand, right, into their system. So innovation is the discipline, you know, building breakthroughs. But now the question is, why exactly do we innovate? Why do these brands innovate? What makes them want to, you know, do something different, right? So again, I'll go around the room. Let me start with Sophia. Hi, Sophia. Why do you think brands innovate?
Hi, Thomasin. Brands innovate to actually stay relevant. I mean, every single day we see new innovations coming up. And if you're not innovating, if you're not thinking outside the box, if you're not planning on ways to, improve everything that you're doing within the space, you're just going to be there and not be able to make anything out of it. So brands innovate to stay relevant. Yeah.
Awesome. Staying relevant. Great. Okay, so my next question would be to let me see. Hi, Velma. Good morning. So if we say brands innovate to stay relevant, can you give me an example of like maybe two brands, maybe local or like global, that are categorized as innovative brands or forward-thinking brands that you've probably come in contact with at some point?
Good morning, everybody. So, two brands I'll think of off the top of my head: Alphabet, that's the parent company for Google, and iPhone, Apple. Very innovative brands. That's
All
part
right,
of their
cool.
brand DNA.
Awesome. Yeah, I think fair enough. We've also seen well, for those that have watched the video, um how they highlighted some of these brands, right? So from Google to Netflix to Apple, because the reality on ground is that to keep up with the audience, right, the end user, you have to always, think proactively. You have to always be forward thinking. You have to always have things planned out and not wait for your audience to request, before you can actually think of the next step on what to do about your brand or your service, right? Next slide. So basically what we're just discussing this morning is, snippets from what next slide, please. Snippets from what we got from the video, right, shared by Tosin. We also had a video by Simon Sinek, talking about how businesses have to always think innovation just so that they can evolve, just so that they don't stay in the same level. And without doing that, the brands tend to die, the business tends to die. Many of them don't catch on that bandwagon of innovation on time, and they end up falling flat. I think they highlighted the Blockbuster, brand from back in the day, where people used to just stream, people used to just go to, video clubs and rent, video cassettes, rent video cassettes, watch videos. But then everything has innovated from having to go into physical brick and mortar stores and renting, this thing, because at the comfort of your home, you can just pick up your remote, and swipe through different streaming platforms, from the Hulus to the Amazon Prime to the Netflix to Apple Plus and all the Apple TV. And it just shows how innovative these brands are headed, right? Not have gone, but they are still going somewhere, because they have to constantly, the competition is tougher, because they have to constantly be forward thinking, right? And as much as there's a lot of competition when it comes to the streaming platforms, there are other things that these brands have also deviated from their usual norm, which was what Simon was talking about in this video. I really don't want to take our time with the, okay, maybe we would just watch a few clips from the video so that we can have a better understanding of what we're referring to about brands, moving forward or thinking out of their box, right?
Are you a professional looking to immigrate legally to the United States?
If I catch this guy. Yeah.
This profession is going, you have the great advantage that there are other professions that have gone through this before you, and you can see what they've done in right and wrong. And you can see other industries as well, how they've screwed it up. So for example, and it's because they waited for the change to happen, as opposed to grabbing the bull by the horns, right?
It's just one S, no big deal.
Right. And So for example, why is it that Netflix invented Netflix and not the movie and television industry? It's because the movie and television industry were protecting their old business model and literally ignorant of the fact that the world was changing around them. You know, the Netflix had this new subscription model, and it was a small company. Blockbuster, which was the 800-pound gorilla, like you remember when we used to get DVDs in the mail. So like they knew streaming was coming. They just didn't. It just wasn't there yet. And so the CEO of Blockbuster went to the board and said, "I think we should explore subscription, because this little thing called Netflix is onto something that's gonna happen when the technology gets better." And the board wouldn't let him change the business model to subscription because they made 12% of their revenues from late fees. And look what happened. Blockbuster does not exist, except for one store in northern Canada. And Netflix is the dominant force in television and movies. Why is it that a computer company invented iTunes and not the music industry? It's because they saw the change coming, and the music industry was still trying to protect selling albums in stores, because they saw their customer as Tower Records and HMV, whereas iTunes, Apple, saw the customer as the person who actually buys and listens to the music. Why is it that Amazon invented Amazon and the e-reader, and publishing industry did not even invent the Kindle? Like it's because they're too busy protecting the old business model. So I think if you go down this route of protectionism, of protecting what we have and staving off change, you are signing your own death warrant. And if it's not your death warrant, your business is going to become way more difficult, and another firm or another that may be completely outside your profession. Remember, iTunes, Netflix, all of these were companies completely outside their own industry. In other words, they couldn't even figure out which one of you it's going to be, because it won't be any of you. It might be a software company that'll completely eviscerate your profession. And so I think to be the one that says.
All right, thank you. So clearly, we could see how the different examples and illustrations that Simon has said here, as regards how you need to, continue to be innovative, right? Another example that just came to mind now is the Silverbird Group, right? Before the existence of the Silverbird Group, we all got used to, the local terrestrial TV stations like NTA, DBN, channels, right? And these were stations that, were following the norm, the trend. But I think with what Silverbird did, they decided to think out of the box, right? And that's an innovative, structured business, right? I think it was one of the, apart from back in the 80s and early 70s, of the invention of cinemas within our space, right? I think Silverbird was one of the major brands that, actually brought, the cinema experience back to life within that movie space, right? And I think that's the type of innovation that, most of these brands that are being highlighted are playing in the space of. So let's just move forward. We also saw the different, categories as to what design entails. So many people think of innovation, by the way, as something that is always very techy and has to be very complex. No, innovation basically is around what you are creating that is different and how you are making it impact, the people around you. That's what innovation basically is built upon. Please go to the next slide. I want to highlight, the different stages that encompass the design. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, great. Yeah, so our brand DNA, right? Please go back to yeah, thanks. For our brand DNA within the business, right? The structure of our own business for helping our businesses, right, is structured in this format, the LED format. That's our DNA basically. So talking about learning, end user obsession and design. So learning in the sense that we need to understand, what the market wants, right? And how we're also, tapping from the different trends that are going on all over the world. So the trend from AI, trend from the use of VR, trend from the use of, AR and everything, right? And fully immersing into it, right? That's the learning stage of what we absorb, right, as part of our DNA, right? And after learning about these things, understanding the end user obsession of, oh, okay, this is what, the audience, right, are really influenced by, or this is what the audience are looking out for. And we see a lot of it happen, in the global space of how brands like Nike are evolving with using culture, right? So the culture of maybe the graffiti art, right, and infusing it into their brand, right? There's a community for it, right? And there are all those type of communities, right? And how brands can actually play into those spaces, right? Those type of brands are already embracing the obsession of the end user, right? And that is kind of example that we as Image and Time Neukleos, Kucheza, and other companies within our bracket are obsessed about, right? Understanding how the audience is thinking and what they are really clamoring for. And at the end of the day, we boils down to design. How do we implement what we've learned, what we've seen from the audience, and creating a platform for them to experience it, right? That is where the design aspect comes in. And if you move to the next slide, we decided to now highlight the different levels to it. So for design, right, it's more about understanding what the audience wants and having a positive, forward-thinking mindset, right? Many a times people just so design is not basically your visual interpretation of what you want people to visualize. No, there's a lot of metrics to aside the visual expressions, a lot of mental structuring as to how you want to implement approach to use, which is what design is basically about. Why am I hearing myself? Okay, thanks. So the approach that we have to design, right? 3 stages that we as a company implement. First of all is the design philosophy. How you think about design, right? How it has the origin of design, and then into the strategic part of design, which is the design strategy. Before we start thinking of channels to play, to plug into, and then execution style, right? So whatever form we choose to interpret our design thinking, right? Those are the approach that we have, right? The different stages, and it has to flow from one stage to the other, because you can't think of execution without thinking of, the strategy or the philosophy behind why you are doing what you are doing for that brand. Next slide, please. So I'll just run through like maybe 3 more slides, just so that we can have an overview of what we as an agency are thinking about when it comes to implementing design or making design as part of our DNA, right? Because that's basically what we are discussing this morning. Why exactly are we getting paid by these clients? Why can't these clients do these things by themselves? They believe we are the professionals. They believe that we are the go-to people that will provide solution as to how to elevate their business, as to how to help their business feel like it is not stagnant, innovative, right? The things that we consider when we think of the philosophy of design are highlighted here. So what we're thinking of why this thing is in this particular form. That's the curiosity. Why is it like this? And then when you start to think from the why, the how, then it shows that you're heading somewhere. So that's you being curious. Why is the iPhone having different series from iPhone 1 to 14 or 15 now? And you're beginning to have a problem-solving mindset. Why is Cerelac Junior just for kids? Why don't they have the ones for adults? We are curious. And then from there, you begin to think through the quality of what you are trying to generate for that brand, right? And then the integrity about it, how you want to stretch it, how you want to be very transparent about what you are thinking for the brand, right? Also the functional benefits of what you are creating for that brand, as well as the beauty part of the brand. So when you're thinking, okay, this is what you want people to experience, this is how you want people to feel about the brand. Is it appealing? Does it feel exciting for the audience to embrace and all that? These are the different key areas that we have to run through when coming up with anything for our brands that we work on. Next slide, please. Yeah, so they also highlighted different examples of brands that are playing within this design philosophy space. A very great example is the IKEA brand. I mean, if we know, for those that know about the IKEA brand, so they came up with this campaign, the democratic design. I don't want to play because of time, because we have other engagements to get into. But if you take out time later on, you can always watch the video and understand what the brand was doing in terms of this space that we're talking about. Next slide. Yeah, so for design strategy, there are a lot of things that you need to consider when coming up with a transformative idea for the brands that we work on. And these things are they're like an everyday reflector of what you are proposing for your brand. And you can't, it's just the same way you're thinking of, okay, how do you want to go about it? And this, so you started with the philosophy of the why and what is the reason behind that thinking. Now, the strategy is the how you intend to implement, what you are thinking into that business. Why, the how you want the business to grow beyond what they're already doing, right? For example, the lockdown brought about new innovation for brands. You can see a brand like the 7-Up bottling company deviate from their usual status quo of producing, drinks and going into hand wash and sanitizers, right? That's innovative thinking. That's design strategy, right? They're meeting the needs of the consumer from another perspective. And that's the same thing that brands like Apple with their Apple TV, Amazon with their Amazon Prime is doing, right? That design strategy. Next slide. Let me just talk through the last step and then I think I can hand over to next slide, please. Next slide. So there were lots of videos that were highlighted as well. So design execution. Now we've talked about the philosophy, the why, the how, the strategy. And now we're talking about the execution. So execution here is talking about how you want to implement from the philosophy. Like I said earlier, it's a stage from the philosophy to the strategy and down to the execution. So down to the execution is where, the experience comes alive, the implementation of the execution. So for example, you have brands like, and then we saw a video, or rather there was a video from the slide that talked about how Netflix is constantly thinking of how they want to improve on their experience to the customers. Why? If you notice, many of these brands will always come up, and when they do, they come with a new strategy of, oh, okay, this is what they are offering, this is what they are selling. It can even come at a free to no price, right? And then you see brands like that come and storm the market with, a lot of freebies and endless promos. But what makes them stay relevant is the experience they are creating. So I know for a fact that when GT Bank I think they did an upgrade on their app, and there were lots of complaints because the user experience was very difficult, right? And we have similar cases with even these streaming platforms. Personally, I don't like, I think it's either it's Amazon, Amazon Prime. I don't like the user experience on Amazon Prime because I feel like it is too shuffled up. It's not straight. It's not simple. It's not simplified. Unlike an Apple TV, for example, or a Hulu, there are lots of them that will come with, and those are the things that make people, stay within their platforms, because people want some sort of simplicity, something that can, how easy it is for you to say, "Hey Siri," and then play me something, or call a phone number for me, or call a contact for me. That's how simple people are looking for, right? You need to understand that end user obsession of how the audience wants simplicity. And that is where our execution comes in, the design execution. So in terms of the experience, in terms of the communication, the storytelling style that we're trying to create, right, for the audience, these are the very key things that we consider. And that is why we have these things embedded in our DNA. So starting with the learning, understanding what the trend is within the market space, right? While everybody's thinking AI and AR and infusing it into their business, right? Also understanding what the end user wants. That's from how people are using, VR headsets. I won't be surprised if in the next 10, 15 years, people are going to walk through like this cable or pods, right? Instead of driving actual cars and then flying in pods to work. That's if, the physical space work thing still, exists. And that's just understanding the end user, right? Understanding what they are obsessed about, what they really are looking for to make life much easier for them. And then ending it with design, right? Understanding the why it is being thought in this manner, and then thinking of how you want to strategically conquer that field by making it much easier for them to embrace and use, and then finalizing it with the execution of how you want them to experience and enjoy that innovative thinking that you have created for them. So yeah, without taking our time, I think I've gone through the major key things that DNA entails. So thank you so much. Over to you, Ayatunde. Hello.
All right, thank you very much for missing.
Okay.
I'm here. I was trying to exit the full screen. Sorry. As you all have guessed, we will have another Kahoot session. Sorry, pardon my voice. All right, so everybody bring out your phones. Yeah. As we get ready. All right, log on to kahoot.it. It's not the code like that. Thank you. Sophia, I have joined them. All right. Sorry, because I was sharing for Tommy, so it takes .it, kahoot.it. It's coming up shortly. All right. Almost there. Okay. You can all see the pin. I'll put it in the chat. All right, we start now. Are you giving yourself nice names? Please let's know who you are. You are on the day of reckoning. We shall attribute your scores to you. Let's go. Question number 1. We have 10 questions. Why do we need to innovate? Interesting. It's slightly tricky, right? Those that picked all of the above. The blue one says to stay irrelevant. It's supposed to be to stay relevant, right? And then remember last week's sessions, we crowdsourced problems, but has nothing to do with innovation. All right, next question. Let's see what our scoreboard looks like. Jemima, you prophesied. It's working. Next question. Why should okay, sorry, there's an error in the question, but why should we continuously protect our business? Oh, sorry. Oh, it's correct. We should continuously protect our business model. The answer should be his fault. If you remember the video by Simon Sinek, protectionism was what led to the downfall of Blockbuster against Netflix. They protected the business model of rental of movies. All right, Motola, we see you. Let's go. Next question. Very cheap. Very cheap. Okay. I mean, ultimately, they did not innovate, right? Whether they bought Netflix or not, right? They did not innovate. Lola, not really. But I get those that chose they did not buy Netflix, right? Because they could have bought Netflix and grounded the business, right? But the real conversation is they did not innovate, right? Innovation could have meant they went to create their own Netflix or develop a Netflix model, right? Omolola, we see you. All right, next question. How many elements are in our design philosophy? For some strange reason, I think the answer is wrong, but anyway, we move. Okay. All right. Omolola, I see you. Let's go. Design the business from the following concepts. Okay. So one of the slides Tomisin went through today, even though he went really fast, right? And he skipped through it. But yeah. So it is actually having a growth mindset, embedding designer ways of thinking, re-embracing and elevating design. This is embedding a growth and design mindset. All right, next question. Jemima, what happened though? Next question. Question number 6. Democratic design is about the following except some of those that watch the video. This is around the IKEA. All right, so the video talked about 3 elements, right? Actually, a bit more than 3, actually. But a few of them are functionality or function, sustainability, and low price, right? It's about democratizing design from an IKEA point of view. Democratization was just a distraction. Sorry for those that, well, yeah, Democratization is the one that is not part of the democratic design from the IKEA point of view. Right. Molola. Okay. Our approach to design includes the following, except glance as carefully. Yeah. All right. Okay, majority got it, right? So our design philosophy our design approach includes three things. And Tomisi went through it this morning, which is design execution, design philosophy, design strategy, and design execution. All right, let's see what our scoreboard looks like. Omolola is still on fire. Okay. Next question. Who is Pablo? All these gangster names that we are all putting up. A design strategy framework includes, look at it carefully. Okay, which I said look at it carefully. First of all, it's not all of the above. It is desirable, ethical, viable, and feasible. The blue option has visible as opposed to viable, right? It's not communicative, definitely. All right. Yes, that's why I said look at it carefully. Look at it carefully. All right. Omolola is taking it away. Lydia, I see you. Sydney, fresh from leave. You want to topple Omolola? Let's go. Next question. Democratic design is a communication tool and a roadmap for developers. True or false? Is true. Okay, majority of people got it. Again, coming from the IKEA point of view, it's a tool and a roadmap. Mololo is on fire. Lydia just bounced Sydney. And they're going into the last round. Let's see. Mr. Milan, we see you. All right. Just sorry. Last question. Which of the following is a segment of the BCG matrix? Careful, read the question carefully before you answer. All right, it's awesome. So the BCG matrix, it has 4 quadrants, right? And that's why I said read the question, Magista. There are 4 quadrants. We have the star, we have cash cow. So cash cow is one word, right? But this is split here. Then we have question mark, and then we have dogs, right? I guess if we, anyway, don't let me go there. All right, let's see who our winners are for the day. Coming in 3rd place. Just Ayo, where did you come from? And 2nd place, and our winner is no other than congratulations. Oh, Timmy, Swallow, please. right. Sorry, let me run off the music. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Over to you, Emmanuel. Let's end the session.
All right, thank you very much, Ayotunde. Good morning, everyone. And I'm sure we've learned one or two things from today's learning session. So my piece of advice is for us to always replicate everything we learn and make sure that we apply it to our daily work activities. All right, so that will be all from me, and I wish you all a productive day. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.